Hi everyone, good morning. It's Ann Schreiber with the Schreiber Team and Compass, and we had the wonderful pleasure of having our title rep, Phil Baker, come in yesterday with a whole lot of information that I'm going to be sharing over the next few weeks. Just awesome statistics and new things that are happening in the real estate universe that is going to be information that's going to be helpful to you, things you're going to be interested in, and items you can share with friends that might be considering all kinds of different scenarios, adding granny flats, accessory dwelling units, market updates in several different parts of the county. So today I'm just going to start with 92127. It is January 30th. And one of the most common questions that I get everywhere I go, no matter where I go, is how's the market? And you know, that always depends on who you are in the market. You know, are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you an investor? You know, who are you in this market? So if you want to know sort of based on what you're interested in doing, how this information affects you and what it means to you in your either short or long-term goals with real estate, please feel free always to reach out to any member of our team. Our team number is 858-367-8471. So let's talk about 92127 real estate, because there's some pretty cool things going on here. The main thing that, unless you're got your head under a pillow, that's going on everywhere in San Diego County and really in most markets. I was just the first 2 days of the week, I was at a conference with some of the top real estate agents all around the country and the world with Tom Ferry through his elite program. Hi, Chris. And all of us were talking about there not being any inventory, which is pretty common for this time of the year. You know, there's usually inventory that builds up between August and December, and then all that property comes off the market or expires or cancels or is withdrawn. And then in the beginning of the year, there's like a very common dialogue where sellers are like, oh, I'm going to wait until spring or until the summer, whatever they think is going to benefit them. But the irony is that this is the time to sell your house. This is the single best time to sell your house, starting right now, you know, pretty much through the end of the spring, because there is nothing on the market. Everything that's coming on the market that's priced correctly, positioned correctly, is getting multiple offers and selling right away. So let me tell you what's happening. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for joining. So let me tell you what's happening in 92127. So the main thing that verifies what we're all feeling is that when you compare December of 2018 with December of 2019, there was 98 homes for sale in December of 2018. In December of 2019, there were 55 homes for sale. So there is not as much to pick from in the entire zip code of 92127. So that's a decrease in inventory by 43%. That's a lot. So what that means is that for sellers, again, hi Miriam, thank you for joining. So again, what that means for sellers is if you are priced correctly and you are positioned correctly and you got your home ready and made it look beautiful, you're going to sell your house and you're likely going to have multiple people offering on your property. Just because the market is great doesn't mean you can price your home crazy. You know, this zip code tends to invite a lot of engineers and highly analytical people. So it doesn't give you license to go bananas and ask for a price that's not warranted or defendable. But again, it does put sellers in a really, really good position. What else did I want to tell you? Okay, here we go. So new listings. So if you compare December 2017 through December 2018, so like a year-to-date analysis, there was only 833 homes that sold in the zip code, and last year there were 787 homes that sold. So again, a decrease in the number of homes that sold. Yay! Oh, that's great. Nicole, post your address in here so I can I'll have to ask your agent, but post your address in here too so that we can talk about your home maybe. Or if you do it, it's fine. In any case, there's also a 5% decrease in new listings that came on the market year over year, 18 to 19. Along with that, the median sales price has gone up, which is really exciting. For the zip code, the average sales price went from $1,104,000 in 2018 to $1,157,500, which is an increase of 5%. So all of these statistics are really great. This is just information for us to take a look at, verify maybe what we as real estate agents are already feeling and already know. One of the things that's really important to remember is that your market, whether you're, and I'm going to do some stuff on Carmel Valley and some other zip codes, Solana Beach, Rancho, in the next few weeks. It's really important that you're not comparing your market to the entire county or to another marketplace. I find that San Diego has hyper-local experiences in what the market is doing, and so it's really important that you are actually looking at accurate data just for your zip code. The other thing to remember is that once the data is delivered, essentially that's old news, right? And if you're talking about national news is usually at least a full month behind what's actually happening right now. That is why it's so important to be working with a hyper-local agent, because they know what's happening right now. So, right, if they're selling homes and negotiating on property, they're inside negotiations on multiple properties in the zip code. They know what's happening, because what was happening last month or the month before may not be happening right now. So again, the message is, just because the market is good for sellers does not mean, I saw that you posted it. Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, Averon is awesome. That's an amazing neighborhood. I would say more, but I want to be sure to respect your agent. Anyway, if anybody wants to know, we definitely can take you to see a property in Del Sur, in a gated, a luxury part of Del Sur, a gated neighborhood, and it just has amazing amenities that are part of the neighborhood, and also the beauty of being in a large open space and larger lots in a gated community. Just gorgeous. Back to stats and what this means for sellers and buyers and investors. Number one, when you're a seller, you need to remember that just because the market is great, it does not give you license to go crazy on your price or to think you can get a price that is not defendable. We at the Schreiber team always recommend pricing homes where it makes sense for the marketplace, unless there is something unique or strange that is going to make the home a little bit more difficult to sell. And we can get into all of that in person and explain those strategies. But I find a lot of times when I sit down with sellers, they're like, the market's hot, let's reach really high. The problem is that buyers are smart, and unless the price really makes sense, they're going to wait, and they're going to be strategic, and they're going to wait for your price to come down. And the expectation, if you're hearing about multiple offers and you're hearing about people fighting over property, is that some sellers will do a reach price, and then they expect multiple offers. They only end up getting lowball offers, and then they're only negotiating with one person. And then inevitably they have to go through a price reduction. Sometimes it still works out. But honestly, my opinion is you harm your equity if you price your home too high, depending on the price point. As we get up into more of a luxury area, pricing is a little bit different. And again, we can go into all of that in person. Once you get over that, like 1.8, 1.9 mark, you're dealing with a different beast. Okay, that's it for today. That's the 92127 market update. I wanted to talk to you about buyers. So the thing about being a buyer right now, it's going to be really, really competitive for the next probably 4 or 5 months. But here's the deal. Interest rates are still totally amazing. And they're really, really amazing if you really rewind back 20 years. We're talking about 5% lower than people were paying 15, 20 years ago, which has an enormous impact on the total amount you pay for a property. So I find that if conditions are favorable with interest rates, you really need to look at the net effect of how that's going to affect everything else that's going on in a home purchase decision. The other thing to think about is why you're buying a home. If you're buying it for your family and you have to sell and buy at the same time, there's 4 or 5 different ways to go about that. That can be really intimidating to a lot of people. And the Schreiber team has a lot of ways to really hone in on your priority and how you want to go about that and then make that happen. But if you have to buy and sell in the same market, then you have to buy and sell in the same market. If you're an investor, you can look for opportunities in homes that aren't positioned correctly, that maybe have tax liens. There aren't a whole lot of short sales and bankruptcies going on, but they are out there. But really what we look for with investors is we look for properties with good cap rates. So you have to move away from the coast, a little bit more inland and East County, and kind of further north. And also look for homes that are not presented to the market correctly and overpriced because they end up coming down and not selling for what they should have sold for. We can go into all of that more in detail, but I really look forward to speaking to all of you about what your hopes and dreams are for 2020 with real estate, and the Schreiber team wants to be a part of that. So call us, 858-367-8471. Comment here if you have any questions, and I'll get back to you. Have an awesome day.